Hello everyone. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am coming live this morning with my regular Tuesday morning 9 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m.-ish Pacific time video. So you can catch me here every Tuesday, and then I rebroadcast this later on YouTube. I'm hoping to have enough subscribers soon to be able to do YouTube lives, and then I'll be able to see you live on there as well. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you don't subscribe to my channel, subscribe, because when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to do these live on YouTube. All right, thanks. So I'm just going to put a comment here in the box, so hopefully when you guys pop on, I'll see you pop on and you can say hi, so I'll know you're here. And yeah, so that'll be great. So the card today I'm creating using the Kangaroo and Company stamp set. It's one of the sets in our January to June mini. They've been playing around with different dates for the catalog, so I'm just trying to get it all straight in my head. So celebration is over, which means I'm going to be putting a lot more love into the mini catalog and of course our annual catalog that only has 2 more months, March and April. May 3rd, our new annual catalog will be released. So watch later this month, March 24th, I'll be coming out with the retiring list and sharing that with you. So keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we're going to do some stamping. Today's card is a baby card. I had a request from one of my team members to do more kind of like all occasions like graduation, wedding, baby, that kind of thing as the cards that we make at our monthly team meeting. But since March's team meeting is already pre-planned, good morning, Catherine. Darlene, our March meeting's already pre-planned and in the mail to you. I can't do anything for this month, so to tide you over, today we have a baby card using the Kangaroo and Company. It'll be good for me too, because my cousin's wife, Ellen, is due in April, so now I'll have a card all set and ready to go for when their little bundle arrives. So I'm going to switch my screen so that you guys can see my desktop. There we go. Now, because we don't actually know if my cousin's baby is going to be a boy or a girl, I'm not going to go with a gendered card. I'm going to go with a very generic hello baby because, yeah, we have no idea. There's actually a little, just for fun, pool on gender, size, actual birth date, that kind of thing. So kind of a fun way to be involved, even though during COVID I haven't even seen her since we found out she was pregnant. Just seen photos. It's very, very sad. All right. Anyway, so here we go. Kangaroo and Company. And I thought as well this week I would show you, I think I showed you last week. My memory is not what it used to be. Pretty sure I showed you last week some masking techniques. I'm going to do some masking again. Hey, Marika. I got to do some masking again because this month's Paper Pumpkin, which you have until March 10th to sign up for, comes with some free masks. And people might not really be aware of, like, what that's all about and how do you use those. And so I really want people to feel comfortable using them. So the first thing I do when I'm using masks is I put a tiny bit of just regular Stampin' Seal on the back of whatever I'm going to be masking. And the reason for that is so that I can put it down and have it stay put. I want it to stay straight so that I don't get like a fuzzy mask that looks all blurry. Then the next thing we're going to do is grab our actual mask. And so this is one from our annual catalog. This is just a basic decorative mask from one of our packets. And so when I line this up, I'm looking at the edges really. I'm looking to see those circles. Do I have this so that I've got the circles kind of where I want them in terms of positioning on the card? Once I have that where I want it, I'm going to push this down. Now you can see my mask kind of looks funny, like there's little specks and stuff on it. At least I hope you can see that. what it is I have used this mask a lot for working with embossing paste, and apparently I wasn't very good at cleaning it, and that became very apparent when I started to apply color to it. It doesn't affect how my mask actually functions, just how it looks. So it'll actually make it easier for me to clean it properly today when I do go wash it. And you just wash them with soap and water, like just like while you're doing the dishes kind of thing. And then I am going to grab some Pear Pizzazz. Now I just see here, when I put my brush down on top, it must not have been clean. So I got some Pear Pizzazz ink on the top, just so I don't end up with inky fingers. I am going to just clean up my case. And so this is just my Simply Chamois. And I've just pulled it out and I'm using it like a cloth. And that will just clean up any ink you get anywhere. Even your fingertips. So if you do get inky fingers, you can just clean them on that chamois. It's just got water in it, so it's super safe. All right, so I'm going to open up my ink, grab my brush, and just give it a little, looked like there was some dust and stuff on there. I don't want that on my ink pad. So there we go, just clean that off a bit. Now I'm going to run this in my ink. And I use this as an opportunity to kind of, sometimes we ink more in the center of our pads and ink collects around the edges. I use this as a chance to also kind of brush that ink back into the center of my pad. And then you can do a little tester up here to see how dark it's going to apply. And then we just start, I like to do circular motions. Part of the reason why I really do need to actually tape mine down so it doesn't slide on me. And I just am going to apply this. Now, I'm not going to apply this uniformly. I am already missing the ombre paper, and so I'm going to turn this into more of like an ombre-ish piece. So I've gone all the way down, so I've got some very light green dots down here, and I'm going to come back in at the top and make these ones much darker. Okay, there we go. All right, so I am thinking I'm happy with that, but we can just close up our ink here and do a little check. And we check by peeling up just one side of our mask and taking a look at that. And yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Actually, maybe that could be a bit darker, but it's all good. So nice and dark. If I don't like it, I haven't actually moved anything. So this is going to come back down perfectly. And I can come back in here and darken up that corner that I thought was too light. There we go. All right, so now with that done, I can peel this off. I'm going to be doing some more masking today, so I'm not even going to take my, this was just washi tape I had used to hold that down. I'm not even going to take my washi tape off my mask. I'm just going to set it to the side with that on there. Ooh, throwing things around. All right, I can put my brushes away. Now, because I am putting this color away, I'm going to just give this a rub on my page until it doesn't really have any color coming off of it. You can also give it a rub on your chamois, and that will clean it up. That's about all it takes to clean these. Okay, so that one can go away now. Actually, I'm going to put it all the way away properly. There we go. And then I'm going to peel this up gently. And I'm just going to either grab a glue eraser if you've got one, or your finger will do, and I'm just going to give both sides a little rub to remove that Stampin' Seal that was on there so that I don't end up with sticky bits on my card. Okay, so now I did mine this way so that I could go dark to light, but actually it's going to go onto our card horizontally. Before we attach it to our card, though, we're going to add a ribbon to it. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use some Seal Plus and do two little strips at about the same height on my card with Seal Plus. And then I'm going to grab my ribbon and cut off a chunk that's just a little bit longer than my piece of cardstock, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, but those of you who know me by now will know this is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. So now I've got the adhesive right here. I'm going to put this ribbon across the front at the level I want it at and tuck these ends, and they're going to be grabbed by that Stampin' Seal that I just put on the back, Stampin' Seal Plus rather, that I just put on the back, so it's going to hold those in position. So now I've got my ribbon across the front of my card and it's not going anywhere. I can now glue this piece to my card base. I'll pull my card base in here. So I've got a Pear Pizzazz card base. So use Pear Pizzazz ink, Pear Pizzazz card base. And the ribbon I just used is a ribbon that's going to be retiring, you guys. We are going to be getting 5 new in colors this year, which means 5 of our in colors need to go. Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, Terracotta Tile, Purple Posy, and Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile. Oh, and Seaside Spray. Oh, that one's going to make me cry. So this ribbon is retiring, and it is our scalloped linen ribbon, and this one was the Pretty Peacock. So if you love these as much as I do, you're going to want to stock up. If you have the ink, you're going to want to grab your re-inkers. And I will tell you that on March 24th, when that retiring list comes out, people are going to run for the re-inkers especially. They always sell out so quickly. So if you're placing an order earlier in the month, put them on there. Don't wait till the retiring list is out, because you'll be sad. You'll miss out. Good morning, Eileen. I know, I do hope that they bring either another bluish gray or something bright like our old Tempting Turquoise, because we do have those brights like with the Magenta Madness and stuff in the other in colors. So, I mean, it's not all sad. Yes, we're sad to see some of these go. Seaside Spray and Pretty Peacock are 2 of my most used colors this year, well, the last 2 years. But it always means exciting new things too. So I'm not too upset. All right. Next thing we're going to do is I rarely do this where I like bring in kind of a fancier die cutting set. I usually, stick to my Stitched So Sweetly or something, my stitched shapes. I'm pretty boring that way, actually. But today, for our background and for sentiment, I am actually going way out there. This is a set that I don't use often, but I really should use it more. I love it so much. It's called Be Mine Stitched Framelits. So what originally attracted me to this set was simply this one die, the scallop with the stitched edge. It's a dainty little scallop. It replaced our old scallop punch, and I had to have this one die. Literally, I bought the whole set just for that. Seems crazy. Since then, though, I have used the other pieces and have fallen in love with them, but they did take a little bit of a learning curve. These dies don't do what you think they're going to do. When I use this die, it cuts out the frame, the scalloped frame with the stitching, separate from the heart in the center. So you end up with 2 pieces. And actually here I've got one that I can show you. So you end up with these 2 pieces. You end up with, so one die run through leaves you with this. And it kind of shocked me the first time. I thought I was going to end up with this solid, beautiful stitched heart. I've come to realize the benefits of this, being able to use the dainty heart, being able to mix and match so that the center of the heart is a different color, being able to have a nice solid heart. It's quite a lovely thing. And then this piece doesn't cut out a heart. It just cuts out the stitching of a heart, which I thought, well, that's strange. Why didn't they just make a stitched heart? Well, because you can do stitched hearts just on a background and not have the piece cut out, or you can run it through and stitch your heart. So it's actually quite a brilliant design. It just took me a little bit to get used to how that works. And so same thing with this smaller set, same thing with these non-scalloped ones. It took a little while for me to figure it out. But now that I've figured it out, I am in love with it. So I am going to run through 2 of these hearts. I'm going to do the one that's going to give me these 2 pieces, and I'm going to do the stitching one, and I can actually run it through all at the same time. Good morning, Janice. So I'm going to grab, I don't think, oh, that may fit on my small one. Let's see. That would be so much easier, although I'll have to trim down my paper. Oh, it will fit. Okay, so for those of you who only have the mini, this little guy will fit. I'm still kind of getting used to this. So 3 3/4 is about the biggest piece you could put through there. And I think these are 3.5. Let's just see. These are exact, oh, they're just over 3.5. So I'm going to cut my paper at 3 3/4. And I've just got my paper trimmer here off on the side. Sorry, guys. So 3 3/4. So that'll save me some paper as well for another project. All right, grab my plates. Oh, don't need that one. Not embossing. All right. So I've got plate 1. Let's see, am I even on the screen? Sorry. Here we go. To load it up, I'll put it sideways. So I've got plate 1, plate 2. Put down my paper. Oh, it's just going to fit. Yikes. I don't know. I might not be able to do this. Yikes, yikes. Oh, you know what? No, it's not going to do it because the die won't be on the plate. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm not going to actually be able to use my mini, but that's a good thing to know if you're looking at purchasing dies and you only have the mini, that larger heart, oops, sorry, on the Be Mine is not going to fit on the mini. So I'm going to grab my big machine. I know it is a learning curve and figuring out which ones work, but you know, with the ones that I know work, it is so nice to have it just sitting there on the side of my desk, ready to go. So now, here, let me see if I can get this so you guys can see. I've lined these up, so I've put in both dies. I have put down my one that's going to do my outside, and then I've put down my stitching, and I've tried to kind of put it in as best as I can. Now, if you're worried that those are going to move on you, you can use just a little piece of washi tape to hold them in the position you want them in. Because of what I know I'm ultimately doing with these pieces, I know that having the stitching perfect doesn't really matter. All right, no, that's not even on the paper now. Come on. There we go. All right, so as much as it doesn't matter, I do want to at least try. Okay, there we go. And then, oh, I went and put my handle on the wrong side. Haha. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to turn this so it's not in your view. Now, you've seen how I lined them up. I'm not going to be able to turn that handle with the screen the way it was. Okay. There we go. You'll see the end result as it comes out the other side. There we are. So a little bit of work to get that done, but it's totally worth it. Because these dies, here we go. Now, sometimes this one sticks a little bit. This one actually didn't stick too bad. If it's really stuck in there, you can drop it on a hard surface and it sometimes pops out. Or there are these little holes and you can use your paper piercer tool to just poke through to release it. All right, so there we have our hearts cut. Now I'm actually only going to use the stitched heart. This lovely piece I'm going to save for another project. Okay, I can move those out of the way for now. I'm going to need that again though. I won't put it too far away. There we go. And now with my little heart here, I am going to, actually I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to do that yet. I want to line it up a bit better. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a piece of Whisper White and my kangaroos. I've got my large kangaroo here, and I'm going to ink her up, probably her. She's the one with the pouch. Although I don't know, are kangaroos like seahorses? Is it the male who carries the babies in the pouch? There we go. So, one kangaroo stamped, and that was just in Memento Black. Now I'm going to stamp my little baby here, and there's two babies in there. There's one out of the pouch and one in the pouch. I've got the in the pouch baby. We'll stamp that baby. And put that off to the side. All right, so these guys are going to get colored. I have got Flirty Flamingo, just the female carries. That's what I thought. Then I thought, oh no, seahorses though. So this is the light Flirty Flamingo. Just going to come in, color the ear, the nose, and a little blushing cheek. And that's just light Flirty Flamingo with the blends. Now, with the baby, I'm going to use my light crumb cake and just color this whole thing. And I'm even, not the nose, but the ear and the cheek, I'm coloring right over top of the Flirty Flamingo. So what that's going to do is kind of like allow it to blend and allow it to be kind of more of a natural color there. All right. And then I'm going to take the other end, the thinner end of the same light, and I'm just going to come in, highlight his little hands, bottom side of his arm, bottom side of his cheek, top side of his ear, bottom side, and top side of the tail, and down a bit. All right, so just give him a little bit of shading. All right, so that was the light crumb cake. I'm going to continue to use the light crumb cake on the mama, but only on her belly, top and bottom. There we go. And so I'm not really doing a lot of shading with this. I'm just kind of coming in and coloring. A little bit of shading, not too much. Okay. So there we go. Got the belly done. Now I'm going to take the dark crumb cake. Oh, hopefully I'm not frozen. On my screen I'm frozen. Oh no. Well, hopefully you guys can see what's happening here. Let me just pop on over. Yikes. Maybe if you guys can put a little comment in and let me know if the screen is frozen for you as well, or if it's just on my end. All right, so I'm going to come in here and use the dark and just do like along the edges. Not even all the edges, just some of them. And along that leg there, down into the feet. Oh, good. I'm so glad I'm not frozen. Excellent. So I'm just going to have to go blind here. I can't see what you guys can see now. I can see your comments though, so that's awesome. Okay, that's different. Facebook is always an adventure. All right, so now that I've done those dark bits, I'm going to come in with my light again, and I'm going to blend those completely in. And again on the ear, I'm going to color right over top of the pink that I did there, and same with the cheek. And some of these are going to take quite a bit of blending. I should have maybe done these in smaller chunks. They blend better when the ink is wet. So come on in there. There we go. That's actually not bad. All right. And sometimes just coming in and getting it kind of wet again can work. So I'm going to come in and just get that wet. And if it doesn't entirely blend, that's okay. I can come back in and just make it darker. But I was hoping for a slightly lighter kangaroo. All right. And I can even use the thin end. Oh, hi Norma. Thanks for letting me know. So I'm going to use the thinner end and help that do some blending as well. And I may just have to come in with my darker blends here, especially on the leg. There we go. Come in with my dark and then immediately with my light, which is what I should have done in the first place. Okay. And I'll repeat that process for some of the other parts, like along here. I'll come in with the dark and then immediately with the light so that it'll actually blend. You do want to be a little bit aware that the more you add, the more likely it is that it might bleed outside of the outline, because this is like liquid on here. All right, I'm going to come into the hand. It's not standing out enough for me. Same with this little hand. And do a little bit there. And then blend. So it's really a back and a forth with the light and the dark, so that you get a nice blend, so you don't have solid lines on your critter. All right. There we go. That worked out well. A little bit more up here. And you just kind of keep going, adding, taking away until you get the look that you want. All right, so all of our coloring is done. I can put those away. Now, the cool thing about these dies is that we can actually cut that, well, the pouch will actually get cut open on its own with the die. So on here you can see there's a band across, and there actually is a little piece that cuts there. And so it's going to cut a little slit in the pouch, in Mama's pouch, so that we can tuck baby in. But to really be able to tuck baby in, we've got this extra piece that I'm just going to cut out of white that we're going to attach baby to, or the flowers or the hearts or whichever piece you choose to use. So this little piece, we're going to attach him to that so that it can slide in and out of the pouch. And we can also stamp a little sentiment on there. And then we've got the die that cuts out our baby. Okay, so I'm going to go grab my machine and run these through. And then I'll show you how it all goes together so that you can get your words and everything lined up nicely. All right, so do that, throw on our paper, throw on the dies. There we go. That one. Oh, I want that one line up. There we go. All right, all lined up. And there we go. Oh, I know this whole freezing thing is really getting a bit frustrating. Noah thinks it has to do with our router, I think he said. And he's going to call and try and get a new one or get it fixed or something, because he said our internet speed is excellent. We shouldn't be having problems. And yet we both are with work. So he actually left today to go into his office, which he rarely does, just so that it would be quiet here for me and we wouldn't be competing for the internet. Sweetie. All right. So with all of our bits done now, we are going to, so here's my little cheat for this piece. I actually come to my kangaroo, find that little slot, and I stick this in so that when it's fully in, you can see it's not hanging off the bottom of my kangaroo, so like we can't see it from the front. Okay, so that's the first thing I do. Now with that nicely positioned, I'm going to grab a glue dot, and I like to use either my Take Your Pick tool or just my paper piercer to do this so that I get it exactly where I want it, right up at the top. And then I'm going to tuck this guy in so that I can't see the bottom white part, and so that he's not blocking Mom's face. Okay, there we go. Now he's stuck on by that mini glue dot that I attached, and he has this little base here. So that tiny little base, we're going to put a tiny little message, and I'm going to use Pretty Peacock ink to do that. And let's see, I've got the Love You Much stamp. And it just is a pretty tight squeeze here. Actually, I got to move this closer, sorry. Pretty tight squeeze because of how far down we put our kangaroo so that he'd be hidden. But you can see it just fits on there. All right, so now that we've got that stamped, we can tuck him away back in his pouch. And it's kind of one of those little surprises. People may not even know it's there. Now with him tucked away, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to do one on the head. We want to make sure to not secure that piece. We want to leave that one free. So just 3 across Mama. And we're going to stick her on the heart. There we go. And up in this corner where we've got some space, we're going to stamp our Hello Baby. I find the stamps in this stamp set are really small, so you need to do something to make them kind of stand out. All right, So there we have her standing out. Her little hello baby is on there. I'm going to put away my ink so I don't get inky fingers. And now I just put away my dimensionals, but I still need them. These guys are going to go on the back of my heart now. So that the finishing touches here on our card. So 3 dimensionals, oil, flying backings. 3 dimensionals there. Put this down. Now I'm going to put it to the right of my card because on the left of my card I am going to actually add a little bow, and I'm going to add that with my linen thread. So I keep my linen thread here in a little jar. I'm going to use about 10 inches. I want enough, and actually I'm going to double that up. I want enough linen thread here that I'm going to be able to easily tie a bow. So 10 inches is probably more than I actually need, but I don't like struggling to have enough to make the bows. And I'm going to snip that. So I essentially have 2 10-inch pieces of linen thread here. I'm going to tuck them under. I'm going to wrap them around each other once just to create like my tied spot. Oh, that didn't tie nicely. All right, so that was weird. I don't know how I did that. That was, okay, let's try that again. So I've got them tucked under. I'm just going to wrap them over each other once and pull. I'm not actually tying a knot. And I want this kind of exactly where I want my bow at the end. I'm not going to be able to move this around. The scallops don't really allow for that. All right, so exactly where I want my bow is where I'm going to just pull once. No tying knots though. And then I'm going to make my bunny ears. Wrap those around each other. And pull. All right. Now, you just kind of sort through the mess and find the 2 ends, and holding the center as you pull down, just so that you can continue here to mess around with your bow, making it sit the way you want it to sit, have the loops the size you want them to be, have the strings hang down the way you want them to hang, that kind of thing. Okay. So I'm getting pretty happy with this, just a little bit more finicky stuff here. And then I'm really going to pull these down. So holding the knot, I'm pulling these cords down. And then I'm going to trim them. Actually, those seem just a tiny bit big. There we go. Then I'm going to trim these so that they're on the card, not coming off the card. All right, so we had a little bit of extra, not too much. Almost done our card. Last touch here is I'm going to grab some rhinestones, but I'm not going to grab my normal rhinestones. I am aware that the catalog is coming to an end and some of our embellishments might be going. So you guys may remember those lovely holiday rhinestones. You probably were like me, used up all your reds and greens. I've got a few blues left. I did use them for some snowflake cards, but I didn't do a ton of snowflake cards this year. So I have a few blues left here. I'm going to use these lighter ones that are probably pool party. And I'm going to come in here and just add them on around the Hello Baby, just as like an extra touch. Okay, there we have it. And that is our final bit on our card. So that is our Kangaroo and Company masked background baby card, and with its little secret message. So kind of love that. There we have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm just going to switch my screen back if I can. Transition back. Maybe you guys will get to see me on the transition back. Not sure. So that is our card for today. A few other things that I wanted to share with you is that later today, oh thanks Keelan, later today I will be sending out my newsletter. I do usually try to send them out on the 1st of the month, but I knew that there was going to be some updates coming today from Stampin' Up! That I wanted to include, so I held off sending that off. So if you have not yet subscribed to my newsletter and you don't get my updates with all my upcoming classes and sales specials and stuff like that. You still have time to subscribe to that. The link is actually in the description of this video, so you can click on that and sign up for my monthly newsletter, and that will go out later this afternoon. There's always like a fun little project to create. Like I said, my calendar that's coming up, and I do have a few classes coming up. Today is the first day to be able to buy the butterfly bouquet stamp set, and somewhere around here I have a butterfly card. I think you guys may have seen, hopefully this is in the screen, you guys may have seen this card posted. So I have a bunch of others that were posted last week of the butterfly bouquet. So we have a stamp camp coming up on March 27th, and the link to all the information about that is in the description of this video as well. So today's the first day you can buy the pieces for that collection and get access to that stamp camp. I'm also going to have a birthday card class coming up, and I'll be putting information about my celebration to those of you who earned that into my newsletter. And then I have a very, very special card class coming up called A Touch of Ink. And so you guys may have seen that in our celebration. I have 10 spots available for that class, and the info will be coming out in my newsletter first. And then once the people in my newsletter have had a chance to respond, then I'll be posting it online for people. And it's basically, we're going to be creating with that stamp set, and I have 10 of them to send out for free with people who purchase the A Touch of Ink stamp camp, or stamp class, sorry. So yeah, kind of special. So you definitely want to be a part of my newsletter if you're interested in that. And then, let's see, I think that was about it. Yeah, butterfly stamp camp, Touch of Ink class, and sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss out on any of this stuff. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. It's a beautiful sunny day here, so I'm going to try and get out for a little hike this morning. And yeah, take care, everyone, and we'll see you next Tuesday, if not sooner. All right, bye-bye.